Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. Today we are doing blizzard coverage for at least a couple of hours to kind of go over what's happening right now in the Midwest and parts of the northern Ohio Valley with the winter storm that's ongoing. We have a lot of live cams, so I'll be utilizing those throughout the live stream. And if you have any snowfall accumulation totals that you'd like to report, feel free to put those in the chat. We will be, if you have any photos or anything like that, feel free to send them into our Twitter page. The Twitter link is in the description, and our moderators will also send it. So if you have any photos, just ask for it. My handle is at the top right of the screen. So if you have any photos at all that you'd like to send into the page, again, you can feel free to do that with the link in the description or through Twitter. That's preferable. If you have another social media platform you want to send those through, those are all in the description down below. So Instagram, Facebook, again, Twitter being preferable though. That's the platform I'll be checking the most often. But right now we have a lot of snow right now falling across the Midwest. We've had a little bit of a rain transition near the Chicago area, which again was a possibility today. I'm not entirely sure if Chicago is straight up rain right now. If anybody in the chat is in Chicago, feel free to let me know. Are we currently all in rain, or is it still a mixture? Or is it snow? I'm just wondering for meteorology point of view. Anywhere in the Chicago suburbs. So if you're not just in Chicago, let me know. But basically what we're looking at right now is that, again, a lot of heavy snow off to the north and east of this low pressure system. The low pressure system is centered back down here just south of Chicago. And so what we're basically going to have over the next, 12 hours or so is we're going to continue to see mostly rain here across areas in Indiana, Ohio, back into eastern Illinois. But on the northern side of the state, we will have a transition back into snow later tonight. And I'll show you that on the future radar here in a few minutes. And then back into central and southern parts of Michigan, we have a mixture of rain and snow. Some areas are still at purely snow. A little bit of rainfall potentially mixing in near Detroit. Detroit right now is 36 degrees. It is very windy. You can see the snow coming down, but it's really not accumulating due to how warm it is out in Detroit. But again, the winds are going to be very high today. We're talking, again, wind gusts between 40 to 50 miles per hour. So they are definitely, it's going to be, the snow is going to be coming down and it's going to be blowing sidewards almost the entire day. No doubt about that. Somebody said in chat that Chicago is 36 degrees. So making the assumption it's 36 right now, it would be still a rain snow mix, so there's not going to be really much more accumulation right now. We will go back to moderate to heavy snowfall though, probably in a few hours once that warm air starts to retreat back down to the south and east, and that will allow for some of this heavier bands of snow like Davenport, for example, to start to shift to the east, going towards Chicago and eventually translating back into the snow, mainly over the rain. Snowing in Toledo. Is it actually snowing in Toledo? It has to be a mixture, right? They actually have a special weather statement right now in Toledo. Visibility dropping to less than a quarter of a mile, up to 2 inches of quick accumulating snow through 5 p.m. in Toledo, Ohio. What is the weather right now in Toledo, Ohio? It is actually, it says 34 degrees. I'm not sure if that's, let me find the official observation here. Yeah, it's 34 degrees right now, so they are seeing apparently some quick accumulating snowfall, most likely on, elevated surfaces or grassy surfaces. I'm assuming it's not really much on the roadways, but regardless, there's actually a little bit of snow falling there right now. Back over near Madison, we also have a live cam here in Brooklyn, Wisconsin, and you can see how much snow has fallen. If you were watching our live stream last night, this particular live cam had like no snow on the ground. It was very minimal, maybe an inch or so. This is definitely upwards of 3 to 6 inches at the bare minimum, maybe even a little bit more than that. But that's what we're looking at there again in Brooklyn, Wisconsin. So that's the latest out of there. Current temperature just under 32 degrees, so that's perfect for wet snowfall accumulation, which does accumulate quicker, and then there's no observation officially here. But back over just south of Madison, there's been at least 3 to 6 inches of snowfall by the looks of it. All right. About 10 inches of snow in Milwaukee already? Seriously? Jeez. Yeah, if you guys have any reports, by the way, if you've measured snowfall outside your house, again, make sure you're doing it properly, not like on a glass top table. Do it on like the grass and like a fair spot, not too close to the house. Make sure it's far away from your house or building or whatever it might be for reliable snowfall accumulation totals. But again, let me know in the chat if just name your location and how much snow you've had so far, and if it's an official measurement or not from, like a ruler or something like that. Yeah, the winds are pretty high too. Let me put on the METAR data here. Let's go over to the, we'll do wind speed. So the wind, these are the wind speeds, not the wind gusts, but at least you get the idea that the wind speeds right now being measured by these various METAR stations are currently ranging anywhere from 10 miles per hour up closer to 30 miles per hour just north of Milwaukee. The wind gusts 45 up there near the Sheboygan area. Milwaukee, for example, near 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Back over near Grand Rapids as well, we're right around 35 to 40 as well. So most areas right now in terms of wind gusts are around 30 to 40 miles per hour. We have a couple of isolated spots probably getting closer to 50. Those wind gusts will actually go up during the afternoon, so it's not going to go really down unless you're near the low pressure system. Might be a little bit different there, but otherwise you're basically going to be talking about, you know, it's going to be windy all day. So obviously if you're going outside, bundle up. It's going to be much colder tomorrow and Sunday, but today will actually probably be one of the warmest days that will be ongoing in the Midwest probably for about a week or two. So just kind of put that in perspective. Here's a live cam near Kalamazoo over in Michigan. Again, they've yet to see really the heaviest of the snowfall. It's not been too bad so far. It's been pretty light stuff, maybe an inch of snow on the ground over the last few hours, but nothing crazy yet. I think that'll ramp up more as we go later into the afternoon, into the evening, if you're over near the Kalamazoo area. Six inches in the Joliet, Illinois area. Thank you for the report. Yeah, basically the entire Chicago suburbs. I mean, my forecast pretty much anywhere around Chicago here. Even here was about 6 to 12, basically anywhere in this area. So, I mean, if you're in like Evanston or the Chicago area and you've seen at least, 4 or 5 inches of snow so far today, you're definitely going to get at least a 6. It'll be more than that, but probably though by the end of it. And by the way, the blizzard warnings have actually extended a little bit further off to the east. Let me go to the radar here. So the blizzard warnings have expanded a little bit. We have a couple areas that are new from yesterday. Even back near Broken Bow, back into Nebraska, we have some extensions back over to the west. But near the Davenport area, we now have blizzard warnings. So in northwest parts of Illinois, southwest parts of Wisconsin, 3 counties included in that blizzard warning. The entire Green Bay area, so even surrounding suburb areas now in a blizzard warning. Currently, the forecast near Green Bay is 7 to 10 inches of snow with wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour. And then back over in northeast Michigan, we currently have the forecast of 10 to 15 inches of snow, which is what I was mentioning yesterday. For this area, it would be about 10 to 15 inches of snow. Isolated 18-inch reading is possible as well. But again, this basically entire stretch here from about the west coast of Michigan back through Mount Pleasant and then into northeast Michigan, you'll probably see in the ballpark of 10 to 15 inches of snow with a few isolated readings closer to, 18 inches at this point. But that's what I'm thinking there right now. And then here are here's the future radar for the rest of today. So this is going to begin at 1, so let's go a little bit ahead here. We're going to go to 4. So again, Chicago is going to probably be in a bit more of a rain-snow mix here for the next few hours. You will transition back into snow tonight at some point, but I do think that warm air advection will kind of sit in place for the rest of the afternoon. Once we go into overnight tonight, another band of snow will arrive, so right around midnight or so, which, by the way, the timestamp is up here at the top of your screen. But yeah, in the Chicago area, you're going to transition back to snow, back into central and northern Michigan, moderate to heavy snow possible there. And then once we go throughout the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, snow will continue across much of Michigan. And then we'll be talking about lake effect snow, which, by the way, lake effect snow, this is all throughout the day Saturday and all the way into Sunday morning. It is going to be snowing for quite a while in western Michigan. We're probably going to pick up additional snowfall readings, upwards of 3 to 6 inches of snow, maybe some isolated areas getting closer to 9 to 10 inches of snow with that lake effect snow, as long as it's heavy enough. And then back near Buffalo, they're currently forecasted with this lake effect snow to get an additional 1 to 2 feet of snow, which is going to be crazy because there's actually that NFL football game, the Buffalo Bills, on Saturday. That will be interesting. Or Sunday. I think it was Sunday. So that game will be very interesting with how much snow is going to be on the ground. Which this is just west of the Buffalo area right now. Notice there's actually no snow on the ground right now. This is, again, not even that. This is 42 degrees right now. This is just west of Buffalo. near the Port Colborne area in Canada. There's actually no snow on the ground right now, which is, again, pretty interesting, especially since, we're in January, and usually areas even near Buffalo and in Canada down here near Toronto usually have snow on the ground this time of the year. So gives you an idea of the snow deficit some of these areas have. No snow on the ground is a bit surprising, obviously. Thank you, Nickel, for the $5 super chat. Don't know about Sheboygan County is not in the blizzard warning. Blowing crazy and snowing hard. Yeah, I mean, blizzard warning, there's certain criteria, and the wind gusts are not necessarily what will trigger it. It's more about how high the wind speeds are. And so if it's anything greater than 35, it's usually a blizzard warning. Just confirm that, but it's 35 miles per hour or greater. Yeah, 35 miles per hour or greater with sustained winds. And also creating visibilities below a quarter of a mile, which might be happening there. I don't really know. I mean, right now it looks like light snow for the time being, light to moderate. So check this out. Yeah, so it's light snow right now. We actually have some heavier snow going through Green Bay right now. And then Davenport probably has the heaviest of the snow by far with the wet snow. DBZ values near 30. But these conditions basically have to persist for 3 hours. That's the criteria, at least. So, I mean, even though you're not a blizzard warning, it's basically on the cusp of, being one. And I would honestly put a blizzard warning there just because of how high the winds are and obviously the snow that's falling. But there are some breaks in the action up there for sure. Nothing for Jefferson City, Missouri. Yeah, Jefferson City wasn't really in the track for anything. Not even in the winter weather advisories from earlier today. These are actually about to expire. There's actually winter storm watches being issued for areas now in southeast Oklahoma, and that is going to be for the winter weather event on Sunday. That will be interesting. Sunday into Monday, and I do plan on having a video on that probably tomorrow. I might even have a video after this live stream as well, but we'll see. That would be more about the Arctic Blast. And again, if you have any photos, videos, anything like that, and you want to send them in, feel free to tweet me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. All those links are in the description below as well. I'll be showing a few of those photos on stream. A bust for Detroit. Detroit wasn't actually forecasted to see much. You might see snow later. It is currently snowing there. Temperature is 34 degrees. And again, notice it's very windy there. And if you look at the rooftop, or it looks like possibly the top of a parking garage, it's not accumulating. And that's because it's just simply too warm at the surface. Back over here, there's a little bit of snow on the ground, but any snow that really accumulates here would be on elevated surfaces. It's mostly a rain-snow mix right now, but the temperature right now, it's dropping. Again, that's just northeast of Detroit, pretty close to that area, but Detroit was not forecasted to see much. And actually, Detroit is no longer in any watches or warnings, I believe. Let me just confirm that. I don't know if I turned off one of these alerts. They were under a winter storm watch last night. Yeah, they're no longer under a winter storm watch. So the Detroit area no longer under a winter storm watch. I don't really expect, much snow there anyway. I wasn't initially. I still don't think you'll see much snow there, but yeah, that's not really surprising. I mean, you're on the warmer side of this low pressure system. And yeah, the low pressure system, and believe it or not, the low pressure system is actually going to go right through Chicago today. And this is the big point of uncertainty with bomb cyclones. Sometimes they can change direction last second, and we are basically going to be, seeing that. I mean, again, the low pressure system initially was forecasted to go more in this direction, and it's actually going to be going right down through the heart of Chicago, which means it's going to be warm there for the next few hours. And I don't really foresee there being any more snow accumulation that's really meaningful, at least through the rest of the afternoon in the Chicago area. It's just not going to be prime conditions for it. We have a live cam in Brooklyn, Wisconsin. We'll see if we can pull it back up here. It's sleeting now in west of Chicago. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. Let me see what the Chicago soundings are right now. I'll use the forecasted sounding. Yeah, so if you look at this right here, Actually, I might have to go full screen for this. Let's go back to full screen. So looking at the sounding, just kind of a little fun fact here. This is a sounding, so we're looking at the temperature as we go up into the atmosphere. So this is near the surface. This is a few thousand feet up into the atmosphere. What we're looking at here, the temperature at the surface in Chicago is 34 degrees. And meanwhile, as we go up a little bit in the atmosphere, we actually have a little bit of an inversion here, approximately a kilometer up in the atmosphere. So, about a few thousand feet. And what that basically means is that we're seeing snow coming down right here. So these are all snowflakes up here. And then it transitions into a little bit of it melts into rain, and then it freezes back into sleet, and it's reaching the surface. So that's what we're seeing right now in the Chicago area, just kind of for perspective. So the temperature aloft is, again, we have that little inversion a little bit up into the atmosphere that leads to sleet. So we're seeing a little sleet transition. Will that freeze into ice? It might on elevated surfaces. I don't think it will on the roadways unless we see a quick transition, back into snow and it's cold enough. But I think it's going to stay above freezing here, probably at least through about 8 o'clock or so at this rate. We do have a photo coming out of Kelowna, Illinois from Shelby Welch. There is a lot of snow on the ground here in Kelowna, Illinois. Now, I've never heard of Kelowna, Illinois before, just for the record, but this in particular is probably in northwest Illinois, would be my guess, just due to the fact you have snow literally accumulating to trees here, which is a telltale sign that it's definitely cold. In addition to that, we have a lot of snow on the ground, probably a good 3 to 6 inches at least. So at least my guess. And here's another photo. This is coming out of... This is in Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio is actually above freezing right now. So Toledo, Ohio right now, again, snow is starting to stick on the ground. An area that wasn't really expected to see that much snow, by the way, is actually seeing a little bit of snowfall accumulating on both the roadways and on the grassy surfaces. Not on the trees. Again, it's really not warm enough, I think, for it to really stack up on the trees. Maybe a little bit, but... yeah, again, this is in Toledo, Ohio, so nice photo there. That was from an anonymous sender. All right, so it's actually 10 inches of snow is what Shelby recorded in Kelowna, Illinois. So this is actually 10 inches of snow right here, which I can probably imagine in the actual grass it looks like that. I was looking at the rooftop more than anything, which, by the way, don't measure snow on the rooftop. That's also not an accurate way to measure snow. It's actually sticking. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's yeah, it's sticking over here on the power line as well. So it's definitely cold. Let me look up where Kelowna is. Yeah, that's near Davenport. So I kind of figured. Yeah, so this area entirely, it's definitely cold there. Let's go to METAR data and see what the temperature is. See if it pops up. But I'm pretty sure it's probably around 28 is my guess. How's it going, Connie? Welcome back. I wasn't actually thinking, I wasn't going to go live today, but I ended up going live. It's, an interesting event. We got Connor with us, Connor Croft, Storm Chaser, bottom right of your screen. We will be with him the entire live stream. And yeah, this is actually our first ever blizzard or winter storm coverage on the day of it happening. We've done forecast days before, but this is our first ever winter storm blizzard live stream. So making history. We do a lot of severe weather live streams more than anything. If you have any photos, videos, feel free to tweet me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. Again, those could be featured on the live stream. In addition to that, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any snowfall reports, put your town or city in the chat, or at least a general area if you want to report your location with how much snow you've seen, and put the amount of snow you've seen in the chat. That would be the easiest way to do it. You can also tweet me on Twitter with that, but it's easier to put it in the chat. I can read it easier. All right, there we go. This is Brooklyn, Wisconsin right now. So again, this is the live view in Brooklyn. We've had this camera going in and out a little bit, but this area has definitely probably had around 10 inches of snow would be my guess as well. If we're talking about 10 inches over in Kelowna, Illinois, I mean, this has to be in the same realm. It's not much further up to the north, and it's also looks to be around the same amount of snow here. Thank you, Marilyn, for becoming a 9-month minimum velocity member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. 9 months is a long time. Thank you, Christopher, for the $4.99. Fort Wayne, Illinois. We've been getting hammered with snow and ice for hours, no rain at all. How come all radars are showing it as just rain? In some cases, when it comes to the radar, it will just show rain, and actually it's this radar in particular. This is the MRMS radar. It's actually glitched on a couple of these frames, but radars do have a little bit of a tough time sometimes detecting if it's snow or rain on radar. Even like if we go to the high-res radar, let's go to the high-res in the Chicago area. Let's go to winter weather. And here are all the temperatures, by the way. It has a tough time sometimes just detecting what we're actually looking at. I mean, it shows all snow right now in Chicago, Evanston, and areas that are currently 37 degrees, which it's probably at least some sort of mixture of rain and snow or sleet, which I've had a couple reports there of sleet. It has a tough time detecting the difference. So that's one of the biggest things with the radar. Let's go a bit further up here to the north. Let's go to La Crosse. And you can see here, it's detecting it pretty well. Thank you, Ken, for the $1.99. Here in the Delafield area, we've gotten 10 inches of snowfall so far. Thank you for the report. Let me figure out where that is, because I have no clue. That is in southern Wisconsin. Yes, it is. Just east or just west of Milwaukee. And yeah, this was the area that I mentioned last night that I was expecting to get right like in, that's a little bit too far to the south, but like right in here. I was expecting basically this entire stretch here to be the jackpot area, quote unquote, for Wisconsin, to get around 10 to 15 inches of snow with maybe an isolated area near 18. So far that is on track for what was forecasted. Yeah, it's all snow right now. We have some heavier pockets of snow right now going into Madison. So if you're in the Madison area, a little bit of some heavier snow coming in. 25 to 30 dBz. That's definitely moderate to heavy snowfall. So that's definitely going to pick up here pretty soon if you're in Madison. And back over here, the temperature's still staying warm enough. Toledo actually dropped like right near freezing, so we've seen a little bit of snowfall accumulation there. They issued a special weather statement for upwards of 2 inches of snowfall accumulation. And we had a photo come out of there, and there's definitely a little bit of accumulation. It's not much, but there's a little bit. Go back to the widespread view of things, winter weather. All right, let me check Twitter to see if we have any other photos. Here's another photo. This is from the Bloomfield Township in Michigan. From Unicorn on Twitter. Again, good coding. That's really about it. Roadways looked a little bit worse in that picture. And this is near Davenport, Iowa. So this is another good view of seeing a ton of snow. This is from oh, this is from Shelby. So this also from Shelby Welch out of the Davenport, Iowa area, just outside of it. Again, notice a lot of snow on the ground. Power lines are accumulating snowfall. And one of the good things about today when it comes to the snow, even though it's going to be very windy, it is going to be difficult for there to be flying trampolines. So there's really no risk of flying trampolines today. This would be the flying trampoline meter. It would probably be no risk actually today for the flying trampoline meter. Just simply due to the fact all that snow that's falling, it's just going to pile up onto the trampoline and it's not going to matter. It's not going to fly away. The only way it would fly away is if you've not seen any snow like down here to the south. So no flying trampolines in the forecast for this Flying Fences Friday. All right. How does Southwest Michigan near St. Joseph look for snow? For the St. Joseph area, I don't know where that is. I'll probably have to use the search tool again. That is near Benton Harbor. Let me check out the warning details. They have better info in here. So 3 to 6 inches of snow That's the card forecast. Granted, you're along the lake. It doesn't really matter in this case because the warm air is not really going to be impeding in your snowfall accumulation. So you'll probably see between 3 to 6. I would expect, though, most of the snow to come later tonight. So we're talking like overnight tonight into tomorrow morning would be your best chance for any snowfall accumulation in that area. And that's all because right now there's a bunch of this warm air that's lifting to the north. The low pressure system's actually down here. I thought it was further east. It's actually over near Bloomington right now. And this is going to go right through Chicago. So Chicago's actually going to have just purely rain and maybe some sleet, a few snowflakes, but it's going to be mostly rain here for the next few hours. And that's going to lead to less snowfall accumulation overall. Thank you, Joseph, for the $5 super chat. No rain in Milwaukee by the lake due to colder than expected temperatures. Yeah, Milwaukee wasn't forecasted to see rain. I don't know if maybe the news told you that or something, but Milwaukee, at least for me, I wasn't forecasting rain. I was forecasting just snow for the most part all day. If you're right along the coast, that's the only area that would be like, you know, if you're right on the coast. Oh, you're by the lake. Okay, so never mind. But yeah, right along the lake was the one area that I thought might be a little bit less for snowfall accumulation because of the warm air that would be coming out from the, you know, the southeasterly winds and southerly winds. You might see that a little bit more later today, but the low pressure center is actually going more here to the north and east through Chicago, so that actually might kind of bring those snowfall totals up overall. Let me check the temperatures here. I have to go back to the other radar. It's actually about 35 degrees here right along the immediate coast, but I do think it's going to warm up a little bit over the next few hours, so you might end up seeing a little bit of a drier period when it comes to snowfall accumulation. Thank you, Liz, for the $4.99. Stay safe, everybody. Been knee-deep in the snow belt of Ohio for 29 years. You're thawing out in Mesa, Arizona. Yeah, Mesa, Arizona does not see much snow, I can tell you that. Thank you for the $4.99. Yeah, when you move to a warmer climate like Arizona or Texas or whatever, most of those areas really do not see snow. It's a very rare event. Update of the winter storm warning in Chicago. All right, so the latest on the winter storm warning for Chicago, 2 to 4 inches of snow is expected now. And they actually have near blizzard conditions mentioned in this warning. Let me make sure this is in the screen. So again, for those that are in the Chicago area specifically, very low visibility, near blizzard-like conditions due to the falling snow and strong westerly winds that are expected. Additional snowfall accumulations of 2 to 4 inches are expected. Highest near Wisconsin state line, which makes sense. That's where a lot of the colder air is sitting. And then wind gusts up to about 45 miles per hour or greater are expected. Again, this goes all the way through noon tomorrow. I think most of that snow will fall tonight into tomorrow morning. I don't think much more will be happening over the next few hours in Chicago. And that low pressure system is like going to go right through Chicago. And that's the one unpredictable nature of these bomb cyclones. When you have a large storm that's intensifying quickly, they can sometimes change direction. So. Any news about when Southeast Ohio will get hit? Southeast Ohio is not getting any snow out of this event. I mean, it's going to be rain for the most part. You might get a little bit of snow tomorrow morning. Let me check the future radar. You might just get enough cold air for there to be like a little bit of snow. It wouldn't be much. Go through the future radar here. Thank you, Jacob, for the $2 super chat. Snowing hard here in Syracuse, just south of the South Bend area. I'm guessing it's mixing down there, right? Yeah, a little bit of isolated snowfall tomorrow, but again, it won't be much. You might also see a little bit going into the evening, but it won't accumulate too much if you're in Southeast Ohio, maybe a couple inches at most. All right. How's it going, James? Welcome back. Thank you, G's Ryan, for the $4.99. Davenport, Iowa has 10.5 inches of snow so far. Could be an interesting afternoon. Yeah, it's going to be snowing there probably at least for the next, I would say, 6 to 8 hours. Not the entire time, but for the most part. So there will definitely be additional snowfall. You might get close to 15 inches if you're already at 10.5. I wouldn't be surprised if you got a bit more. By the way, if you are sending photos in via Twitter by Messenger, just make sure to check your messages. In case I responded. All right. Thank you, Fire, for the $5 super chat. 7 inches in Lola, Wisconsin. I don't know where that is. Let me find where that is. That is actually west of Green Bay. Already 7 inches up there. I think most of the snow is going to be probably during the rest of like the afternoon, and it'll probably clear out a bit more over the night, but 7 inches of snow is not bad for that area. That area was just west of like the jackpot zone, which the jackpot zone really is like from Milwaukee and northward back through Green Bay. So Kat, if you're using it, you have to go to the bottom right down here and you click the winter weather button and it'll show snow. It'll show the mixtures and stuff on Radar Omega. Thank you, Gamer, for the $5 super chat. How is Greenfield, Indiana looking for snow? Gotta look that up as well. That's near Indianapolis. You might see like an inch or two overnight, but it wouldn't be much. Again, like a coating to 2 inches at most. Really be about it. Snow is starting to accumulate just north of Detroit. Yeah, it might be. I mean, it's not really that far away from the freezing temperatures. This is the live cam that is just north of Detroit, and it's still 34 degrees here, but for just slightly further north, it's a touch colder, so there's probably at least a little bit of snowfall accumulating there. By the way, this is a live view from what Connor's doing right now. And Connor is, I'm not entirely sure where he is, but I'm pretty sure he's near Davenport. There is a ton of snow on the ground right now over there. Just a ton of snow. Probably a good foot or so. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me check the power outages. I just saw somebody say something about power outages. Illinois currently has 34,000 power outages in the state. There's a little bit of isolated power outages near the Chicago area, but that's really about it. Southeast Wisconsin near Milwaukee, like Washington County, have some isolated power outages. Waukesha County as well. Those two counties have some isolated power outages. And then there's some isolated power outages in a few other states as well, like Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. But all of those states are, for the most part, not really anything, you know, out of the ordinary. Yeah, look at the whiteout conditions. That is, it's. I mean, it's not like, you know, blinding snow right now. It's a few snowflakes flying, but you can barely see out in front here from Connor. Let me turn up his audio.
Laptop should be getting close.
Actually, let me pull up his stream and then do that. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We do live streams like this all the time. And make sure to like the stream if you've been finding this stream informative so far.
Send me at least.
All right, we'll turn up the audio a little bit here.
On Max Velocity stream, and yeah, Max visibility is actually improved a little bit over the last 30 minutes, I'd say, but yeah, Max go east a little bit, and as we get later into the afternoon, I would expect that the conditions are going to rapidly deteriorate. We're going to start to see some bigger drifts on the roadways. And travel, there, look at that. There's a big drift right there.
I just lost his audio on my end, but I think it's still playing on there.
Will likely become pretty much impossible tonight.
There we go.
Rapidly deteriorate. We're going to start to see. Travel, look at that. There's a big drift right there.
And see the snow drifting on the roadways pretty clearly.
You want us to go down the side road? We can go down
My stream is slightly behind on audio, but yeah, so the visibility obviously pretty low, even with it not snowing that hard right now in this area. But let me go back over to here. Yeah, again, that's what we're looking at right now. Again, very heavy snowfall for the most part a few hours ago. It's pretty light right now. And again, a lot of drifting on the roads. You can kind of see all the snow kind of going on the roads from the winds. Again, the wind speeds all day today, pretty much 40 to 55. When it comes to wind gusts, wind speeds in general will be a little bit lower than that, but that is what we're looking at. Thank you, Killjoy, for becoming a Maximum Velocity member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much, Killjoy. Let's get some hearts in the chat for Killjoy for becoming a Maximum Velocity member. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, Tom, for becoming a Minimum Velocity member. I appreciate your support. Thank you. And thank you, Purple, as well, for becoming a Minimum Velocity member. I appreciate that, and welcome to the Velocities. Does anybody have the location of Connor? I don't know if he mentioned it when he had his audio on. I'll have to go back to it. Did anybody catch what exactly area he's in? He's talking about right now. Oh, his stream is frozen. All right. Oh, it was coming back, but we'll go here for now. Does anybody know his location? He's in Iowa. I'm guessing. Okay, so I think he's near Davenport. I'm just guessing though. No blizzard warnings for Michigan unless you're up here near Interstate 75. So more rural areas of Michigan. There's about 9 counties here that are under a blizzard warning. 10. He's by Davenport. Okay, yeah, I kind of figured. So he's in the Davenport area. That's where a lot of the snow is. The heaviest bands are on the west side of Davenport right now. Darker blues are representative there. Also a little bit of heavy snow near Green Bay. I'm sad Ohio won't be getting any snow. I know Ohio's been like in a big snow drought this year, and I don't know if you're going to see much anytime soon. It might be a little bit. Here's Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This is a pretty impressive photo. This reminds me of when I was a kid when we'd have a bunch of snow. This is in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, from Miss H on Twitter. And a ton of snow on the ground here. But again, a lot of snow there. Obviously, a lot of that's on the porch, but yeah, that's a good foot of snow. That is a lot of snow. Even the fence is getting covered over back here. See the fence? Fence is almost covered over on Flying Fences Friday. You know for a fact that won't be flying away. So we got a snow NATO. All right, we have another photo from Geneva, Illinois. Again, snow on the chairs. Nothing on the umbrella. The umbrella looks perfectly normal, while everything else is covered over in snow. This also looks to be pretty close to at least 9 inches of snow. Again, making a guesstimate here in Geneva, Illinois. Again, a lot of snow on the ground there. Getting more photos sent in. Yeah, if you have any photos, feel free to tweet me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. Link to that is also in the description. If there's anything we haven't seen yet here. All right. I have checked through every Twitter photo thus far, so if I've not shown you, I'm not showing every single one because I've gotten probably about 3 dozen here in the last like 5 minutes, but I'm picking out a few that I see in messages and via the tweets. Why is Ohio in a snow drought? I mean, there's multiple reasons. You can start with it being El Nino. Typically in El Nino, it's not nearly as active when it comes to snow. You know, it's just warm overall winter. It's drier, even though it's raining. A lot of the storms and the storm tracks so far this winter have been either centered down here in the southern plains or have gone up here to the north and east. And honestly, a lot of the United States is in a snow drought. It's not even just Ohio. I mean, you know, even areas in the Northeast, there's definitely a lot of areas in snow droughts, and it's just been a very inactive December. And January's ramping up with intensity now, but it's not going to be really that active for the rest, at least next week is not going to be super active when it comes to snow. There'll be some clipper systems, but it's not going to be like major stuff. It's going to be pretty minimal snowfall activity. So, I mean, when you think about it that way, it's again, really not much. It's been a pretty inactive December, and January with the Arctic blast, we're having a low pressure system in Canada circling some of the snow, but it's gonna be minimal. No big winter storms really after this one, and then or actually there will be technically a winter storm Sunday into Monday, but it's not gonna be like, you know, tons of snow. And the areas that are gonna see it are like Oklahoma, Texas, back into the mid-Atlantic. It's gonna be again far south, which is typical for El Nino, by the way. So yeah, it was a pretty hot December. It was one of the warmest, I think, on record. Thank you, Laura, for becoming a Maximum Velocity member. I appreciate that a lot. Welcome to the Velocities. Let's get some hearts in the chat for Laura for becoming a Maximum Velocity member. Here's Moline, Illinois, or Moline, Illinois. Another photo here. And a lot of snow on the ground. Roadways are slick, definitely, in this area with all the snow on the ground. Yeah, that's a lot of snow. Thank you again for Leo for sending that in on Twitter. All right. Thank you, John, for the generous $10 super chat without a message. I appreciate that, John. Thank you. Appreciate your generosity. Thank you, thank you. Is there supposed to be snow accumulation in the Detroit area? Not really. If you're near Detroit, it's going to be mostly rain. It's actually dropped. Wow, you can't even see the live cam anymore. If you guys have been here for at least like 10 minutes, we were looking at this not too long ago. And that live camera has been covered over, I think, with snow now. You might get a little bit. It just depends on if the temperatures drop enough. And even if you see accumulation, maybe a few inches at most, it's not going to be a winter storm, really. There are winter weather advisories for Detroit for 1 to 4 inches of snow, so you'll probably see at least an inch or two, but it will not be a huge snow event by any means. Yeah, this live cam, I don't think we're gonna get this back. I think it's gonna be covered over for a while. It's just a big snowflake covering it. The temperature's been steadily dropping. When we first went live, I think it was 35-ish degrees here, and now it's down to about 33. So the temperature is dropping there just a little bit. Here's Brooklyn, Wisconsin. Here's another live cam. "10 inches of snow in the Waukesha, Wisconsin area." Yep, that sounds right on track. Maybe actually a little bit higher than what I was expecting to this point. You'll probably top off near 15 inches is my guess. Snow still to come. All right, I got a couple more photos and videos I'll show you guys here in a second. Thank you, Icy, for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that. This is Radar Omega. If you want to download it, the link is down near the bottom of the description. That's what I'm currently using. Detroit will probably see between 1 to 3 inches of snow. Waukesha, thank you. Looks like Waukesha. Wisconsin is the hardest state to pronounce names in my opinion, here across the country. Yeah, Davenport's still looking at snow here for the next few hours. Once this band comes through, a lot of the snow on the backside is going to be pretty light stuff. So, again, the low pressure system right now, it's near Peoria and the Bloomington area of central Illinois. But a lot of the snow that we're going to see here over the next few hours is going to become a bit lighter. Right now, it's probably the heaviest it'll be here for the rest of the day. Probably won't get much heavier. And right now, it's pretty light. Yeah, it's starting to rain more than Chicago, and the reason why is because now, if you're just tuning in and you haven't already heard, the low pressure system was, forecasted to be just east of Chicago, and even then, we had a couple scenarios where it might go closer to Toledo or something like that. It's actually going to go right through Chicago, so we're going to be in a rain state here for the next several hours. The next chance that you have of snow will be on the backside of this low pressure system. And that's it. That's pretty much it for your area. Here is a video out of Kalamazoo, Michigan from KD on Twitter. Very beginning here. Again, a lot of snow on the ground there. Looks like my guess would be probably somewhere around 5 inches of snow, maybe 4 inches of snow. Katie, if you have an actual snowfall accumulation estimate, let me know. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was right about in that range. And again, if you have any snowfall accumulation reports, feel free to put those in the chat with the location. All right. Thank you, John, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you. I can check. All right, cool. Keep me posted. Hopefully I don't miss your message in chat. If I miss your message, just tweet me on Twitter. 2.5 inches of snow and heavy snow in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Ann Arbor. It's somewhere over here. I think. Or is that over in... I think it actually might be the other way. It's over here, isn't it? Alright, I don't know where Ann Arbor is. I could have sworn I knew where Ann Arbor was. I got pretty good with geography here. Did I just miss it? Oh, no, I'm not even close. Okay, never mind. Ann Arbor's had about 2.5 inches of snow, and it was over near Detroit. This is when you know you don't know anything about Michigan. It's one of the biggest cities. I thought that was right along the coast for some reason. Does anybody have any measurements in Chicago for snow? By the way, talk about that severe weather threat in the southeast today. It never materialized, which is good. That environment for severe weather was so favorable for a tornado outbreak, but it lacked instability and low-level moisture. It was a serious concern, a few days ago. Luckily, the forecast became more clear that we weren't going to see that, but apparently Birmingham, Alabama took off school today or something. I guess they made that decision yesterday. Connor's just at a gas station or something. I was like, I couldn't tell if that was like a truck flipped over or something. It's small on my screen, so I couldn't tell. 5 inches of snow near the Northbrook, Illinois area, northern suburb of Chicago. Yeah, so, I mean, again, you're in that 6 to 12 inch range for Chicago. If you're anywhere in the Chicago suburbs, pretty relatively close to Chicago, you're going to end up between 6 to like 8 inches of snow. Because the only snow that you have left remaining would be tonight into the overnight hours, and that would be this stuff. And it'd be more light to, like, pretty light snow overall, maybe a little bit of moderate snow. Thank you, Crab, for the 199. Thank you for covering the northern snow. I appreciate generosity. Glad I can help you out. I do have a photo from Janesville, Wisconsin. I will be showing that here momentarily. And Isaiah from Centralville, Michigan, which is near Kalamazoo, estimating about 3 to 4 inches of snow. That area is starting to pick up on snow. New mesoscale discussion, by the way, for those in Iowa. This is mostly in central Iowa. We do have a new update here that the snowfall accumulation overall, it's going to continue, but obviously the blizzard conditions are going to pick up over the afternoon and evening with winds beginning to strengthen. Looks like 25 miles per hour here, 25, all 20 to 25 mile per hour winds. The wind gusts are around 45 to 50, and I'm guessing that this area here that's hatched over would be the area that we are talking about the greatest probability of that. So central and eastern sections there of Iowa. And by the way, travel is not recommended, or not advised, I should say. Here's a photo from Janesville, Wisconsin. One of the very few Wisconsin places I can pronounce. This is a photo, though. Again, snow accumulating on the branches. I'm not sure how much snow they've at least estimated here, but it's probably in the ballpark of 8 to 10. That is from Dale on Twitter. Thank you for sending that in. All right, so about 3 to 4 inches, Katie. That ballpark. Rockford, Illinois is still dealing with rain, I believe. We can check the temperature, though. See if we're seeing any brief transition. We might be transitioning into a little bit of a rain-snow mix in that area. And with that being said, if that does happen, the snowfall will become a little bit less accumulative over the next few hours. But snow is still expected later tonight. There's actually winter storm watches in effect now for central Mississippi. You know it's a weird year, or a weird time of the year at least, when we start to see winter storm watches this far down to the south. That is something. Yeah, this is the area that we're watching for severe weather today. Never materialized, which is, again, all due to the fact we didn't have much moisture. And the instability was lacking. Not a very good environment for that sort of stuff. At this point, I don't think we're going to see any tornadoes. We might see like an isolated tornado or two near Florida or maybe Georgia, possibly South Carolina, but I'm not very confident we'll see much. And I was kind of saying that last night, like, you know, the environment, it's not very good for tornadic activity. Thank you, Timothy, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you for joining the Velocities. Let's go to Connor real quick. Connor's using the radar. All right, we'll go back here for a second. Thank you, Alpha, for the $2 super chat. Grand Rapids, Michigan. I said a mind blank of where this is. It's right here. Grand Rapids, Michigan, you'll probably be in the ballpark of not 10 to 15. At least today, you're probably going to see in the range of like 8 to 12. You will have lake effect snow as we go into Saturday and Sunday, so there will be more snowfall. Yeah, they actually have it in the range of 8 to 12 as well, the National Weather Service. So I think 8 to 12 inches is reasonable today into tomorrow morning, and then you'll probably pick up at least another 3 to 6 inches, maybe more, with that lake effect snow Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I left work early in Michigan, and I only drove 2 miles, and it was treacherous already in Northville. Thank you for the report. Yeah, this, I mean, again, traveling really not advised today. Obviously, unless it's like mandatory or an emergency or something like that, but it's very dangerous traveling conditions any way you look at it. Appreciate everybody sending in the photos and videos on Twitter. Again, I'm trying to show as many as possible. And a friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're new, if you're liking the stream, make sure to hit the like button. All right. Memphis winter storm watch. Oh yeah, this actually just got issued. Memphis is now under a winter storm watch. They're actually saying 3 to 8 inches of snow is possible down near Memphis. Holy cow. I don't know about that. I'm gonna check that out on my other monitor and see what we're actually looking at here. That would be a lot. I mean, again, I haven't really looked too much into this area. I've really only looked in North Texas, to be honest. So, yeah, actually, there could be. It looks like the snow is gonna be heavy Monday. Wow, 3 to 8 inches of snow down there is actually quite remarkable. Yeah, the forecast, the European model at least is putting it around that. For those that are curious, down near Memphis and Mississippi, 3 to 8 inches of snow. It's a possibility. Again, it's not certain yet. I will have a detailed forecast on this tomorrow or tonight. Probably tomorrow on that event. But yeah, that's a lot of snow for those areas. Tampa's not going to see snow. No, I hate to break it to you. I think Ann Arbor, if you're going to see anything, it'll probably be around 2 to 4, 3 to 6 inches of snow. You're near Detroit. And again, a lot of the snow that you're going to see down there, if you're near Detroit, will not be until tomorrow morning or overnight tonight. There's going to be a little bit now, but we're going to go back more into the realm of this being a rain event there, with the low pressure system going up this direction. This will be almost all rain in here, and then the snow that's back here will come from behind later tonight. Thank you, Mark, for gifting 1 member to the channel. I appreciate that. Thank you. Whoever got the gifted membership, make sure to thank Mark for gifting a member. Imagine living in a place where snow happens. I live in Florida, as you can tell. Yeah, snow, I mean, again, some people love snow, some people don't. The only time I ever like snow is when it first happens. The first time in the fall or winter. That's the only time I like it. After that, it gets annoying. Like, literally, I can't handle it after 1 or 2. Like, maybe the second time is fine. It's super exciting, though, the first time. Don't get me wrong. It's super exciting. But after that, it just becomes a pain to shovel it all and all that sort of stuff. Who is actually, I'm kind of curious, put in the chat if you've seen snow before. Have you seen snow, yes or no, in your lifetime? Like, in person, not talking about looking on the TV screen or whatever and watching the news. I'm guessing like 99% of you have. I'm just kind of curious. Got 11 inches of snow in Iowa, and it's supposed to get, I don't think you're gonna get 13 more inches, but might get a few more, maybe 3 to 5. A lot of the snow it's not like winding down, but it's definitely less than before. Yes, I just shoveled. Yeah, I mean, if you're right now in the Midwest, you've definitely seen snow. Too much. I haven't seen a no, so nope, never mind. No, I live in Orlando, Florida, so that's a valid excuse. Yes, I have seen snow. The last time I saw snow was about 4 years ago. It's been a while. Grew up in Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo sees a lot of snow. This past winter, the lake effect snow event that dropped like 4 feet. It was a crazy event. Even in Florida in 1995, there have been a couple of snow events in Florida. Believe it or not, the most snow that Florida's ever had in one snow event was like 4 inches. I think it was in the Panhandle. So, interesting stuff. I'm guessing that happened during the El Nino year, but I could be wrong. It was like 86 inches. Yeah, there was a ton of snow. Actually, I think it was closer to 6 to 7 feet. What's the most snow I've ever seen? I mean, the most snow I think I've ever seen is probably close to 5 to 6 feet on the ground at one time. I think that's the most. Here's Connor right now. He's driving right now through near the Davenport area. Thanks, Rudy. Appreciate it. 1 inch per hour north of Detroit. Yeah, snow's picking up a little bit in Detroit. It probably will not last forever, though. Probably go back to rain here pretty soon. This is a live cam out of Kalamazoo area. The snow is not really falling very quickly. It's fairly light snow. It was a little bit heavier, or it wasn't really heavier before. It was actually lighter than this before, so it's picking up a little bit, but it's not much. It's definitely very light right now in Kalamazoo. Rain snow mix in Indianapolis. Is it actually? Is it really that? Is it cold enough for that? Indianapolis 30. Oh yeah, it is actually. Interestingly enough, it's about 40 degrees up near Lafayette, and then near in Indianapolis, it's 35, 36. It's actually interesting. This is out of, wow, this area is just getting covered in snow. It's actually a bit more than before. Pretty light snow as well back over in Brooklyn, Wisconsin. But Trans, I use Radar Omega. You can download it. It's the very bottom link in the description is where you can download it on iOS and Android. When will the snow end? Let's go through the computer models, the future radar, and I'll go kind of hour by hour here. So this is 4 o'clock today. Again, mostly snowing across many of these areas. The low pressure system will go right through Chicago, so it's going to be mostly rain for the remainder of this event until tonight. And then this is 7 o'clock tonight, so snow will be winding down in much of Iowa. But again, blizzard conditions are not going to be done until at least tomorrow morning with how windy it's going to be. And then once we get closer to 9 o'clock, still snowing across much of Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and we might even see a little bit of snow down in Kentucky tonight, just on the back side of this low, back near even possibly as far south as like near Chattanooga. We actually could see a little bit of snowfall. This is midnight tonight, so snow moving through Chicago. That'll be the transition period back to snow. A few passing snow showers back in southwest Iowa overnight tonight. Snow will be clearing out of Illinois by around 4 in the morning. And most of Wisconsin will be clearing out as well. Only exception will be the lake effect snow tomorrow morning. And then this is tomorrow afternoon. And this is by 11 o'clock tomorrow night, so Saturday night, still lake effect snow ongoing for western Wisconsin. Lake effect snow picking up across western New York, including Buffalo, and as well as the Watertown area. And then this will be what we're looking at probably all the way through lunchtime on Sunday. There will still be some lake effect snow out there, but it'll be lesser across western Wisconsin. Western Michigan. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the future radar and the timing. So enjoy it while it lasts, or don't enjoy it. It's up to you. I don't, it depends on who you are. If you love snow, enjoy it. If you don't, then don't. Again, widespread blizzard conditions are expected across much of Iowa and far northern Missouri this afternoon and evening. Wind gusts may approach 50 to 55 miles per hour at some times, and again, that'll drastically reduce visibility. Be mindful of that if you are in those areas. Wow. That is a crazy photo. I'll be showing that on Twitter here in a minute. Wow, look at this. This is in Iowa. Again, tons of snow on the ground here. I believe the stream is frozen. Yeah, it is. It's freezing a little bit, but a lot of snow on the ground. Again, he's near Davenport, Iowa, Connor Croft. So Cincinnati dodged a bullet. You would be correct. Yeah, Cincinnati's not going to see snow from this. Winter recreation is a significant part of Wisconsin's tourist business. Yeah, a lot of these states, like New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, all those states, they are heavily relied on that sort of stuff during the winter. This is from Geez Ryan on Twitter. Or on YouTube, technically. This is in the Davenport area. Again, tons of snow on the ground. I'm not sure how much this exactly is, but that looks to be around a foot of snow in Davenport, and it is still actively falling. Pathway has been built here. Probably on the driveway or the sidewalk, but yeah, this snow's not melting anytime soon, so if you're hoping for it to melt soon, it's not. Unfortunately, it's going to be sitting around here for probably a good week or two with the Arctic blast on the horizon, and that'll lead to it just being a painful amount of snow on the ground that you're gonna have to keep moving so you can drive out of your driveway. When is the polar vortex coming to Tampa? I mean, the polar vortex isn't really gonna hit Tampa or anything like that. I mean, it's way back up in Canada, but when we're talking about the Arctic blast, Tampa will see it, I believe, on Wednesday. Let me just double check. And the Arctic blast will drop temperatures down from the 70s or so on Tuesday down into like the 50s. The low temperatures in parts of Florida will go below freezing on Wednesday or Thursday morning. But in the Midwest specifically, the Midwest is going to be dealing with the Arctic blast for a little over a week. Beginning tomorrow. Back over to Connor. Hold the stream here. And Connor right now currently near Davenport, Iowa. Currently storm chasing here. I'll put up the audio here in a second. Thank you, Ohio, for the $5 super chat. Why does every weather map show market? No, it's a big basketball school, but there's like 11 people. I have I have zero clue. I don't know. Is that like, isn't that a city? There's 20,000 people. I mean, it's like a small city. I'm guessing it's like the biggest area there in the Michigan Peninsula. A state donated to me. I usually abbreviate a lot of these longer names. Ohio Dung Beetle is the full name. Must be pretty isolated. I don't think many people live in this peninsula. I could be wrong. I mean, you know, I've never been here in my life. I mean, you got Houghton, you got a couple other areas, but I don't think there's much up here, to be honest. I don't think there's much up in the peninsula. It's definitely more rural, that's for sure. Marquette University is not in Michigan. Well, that's I don't know where it is. I have no clue. I don't watch Big Ten basketball or anything like that, so I couldn't tell you. It's been steadily increasing in Lansing for the past 30 minutes. Thank you for the report. The snow's ramping up just a little bit right now in Michigan. But I do think it's going to go back to rain here pretty soon. Or at least a rain-snow mix. Give me 1 second. All right. Good amount of snow in the DeKalb area of Illinois. Yeah, anywhere in like near Davenport, specifically near Davenport, but even up here just west of Chicago. I mean, all these areas have been below freezing pretty much the entire day. So, you know, there's gonna be a lot of snow on the ground, especially Davenport. Davenport's basically been the bullseye when it comes to snow, which I think overall, you know, this area in particular, like just east of Des Moines back through Davenport, you're gonna have a lot of snow. Already have a lot of snow on the ground, a little bit more is to come. And then this will be the other jackpot area. It'll be between Green Bay and back through Milwaukee. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's free to do. Click the red button down below. Been enjoying the stream so far, make sure to like the stream. Yeah, we are currently doing live Blizzard coverage here. Across the Midwest and the Great Lakes region.
Echoing, huh? Why are we echoing?
The wind is starting to blow a lot, by the way, in the Windsor area as well. Which, again, that's near Detroit. A lot of areas are going to see an increase of wind speeds here over the next few hours. The winds are already gusting around 30 to 45 miles per hour across much of the Midwest. Some areas near 50. Again, that'll lead to blizzard conditions here for the next several hours, or at least near blizzard conditions. I do not... the Chicago area, I don't think will get blizzard warnings. It'll be close, but I don't think Chicago will get to that point. It'll be very close though. I mean, even areas out here to the west. Let's go to the live radar again and let me go back to the warnings here. But like when you look at all the watches and warnings, the areas that are under blizzard warnings are primarily back up. Actually, Sheboygan's now in a blizzard warning. We were talking about that before. That area has now been issued into a blizzard warning, and the Market area is now in a blizzard warning. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these areas went into blizzard warnings. I think one of the biggest things that needs to be seen is how much snow falls. Like, you know, between now and basically tonight and tomorrow morning, and we'll kind of see what it looks like by then, because the winds are going to be strong all night. They're going to still be gusting around 40 to 50 miles per hour. But Chicago's peak wind gust will be around like about 1 a.m. to about 8 a.m. tomorrow. So the wind gusts will get about 45 miles per hour, but they're probably not going to get to 50. And then the Sheboygan area will be around 45 to 50 here. So, I mean, maybe Chicago does. I don't think these inland areas will, though. I don't think the winds are going to be strong enough in here for there to be a blizzard warning. But I do think Milwaukee back through Chicago has a chance to be under blizzard warnings tonight. For the time being, there are winter storm warnings. And subject to change, we'll see. I do think that there's at least some sort of chance there, because the wind gusts are going to be pretty similar to what Green Bay will be seeing over the next few hours. Further away you get from the lake, the more snow. That is pretty factual for the most part. The only area that wouldn't be really as factual for is back over here in western Michigan. Those areas have a more southerly wind, meaning you are dealing with the warmer air off the land, and that's not really reaching those areas. Instead, areas near Chicago, they're dealing with more of the wind over the lake, bringing a bit of warmer air on the immediate coastline. Back full cam to here for a second. Again, Connor right now in the Davenport area. I'll put on his audio.
We're in Wilton. Seems good now. Excellent.
Stop touching stuff.
Text and read back.
Retext you.
Pretty quiet right now, and he's right now driving through Iowa. He is currently in Wilton. Let me look that up. He's done some upgrades to his stream, so he actually has a location now on here. This is Wilton.
Sorry about the echo, everybody. As soon as the echo
Is he?
goes
Wait,
away,
he's not in Wisconsin, is he?
front camera phone stops sending.
This thing stopped already? You live the...
Who knows why? Who knows?
Yeah,
Oh.
that phone is...
All right, one moment. Trying to figure out where this is.
And it's back.
Garbage.
Yeah, so he's just on the west side of Davenport right now.
Yeah, that's weird.
Bottom right of your screen is the current radar. I'll go high def.
Okay, I got you, Caitlin. I got you.
I don't see any blizzard conditions.
Nope.
All right, but this is what we're looking at right now. Again, he is currently in, near Wilton, Wisconsin. I'm going to pull that up on the big screen here. Let's go big screen. But this is what we're looking at right now. So again, he's just west of Davenport. That's Davenport, Iowa. He's actually near a band of heavier snowfall here. Just about 25 to 30 dBz. This is all moving relatively to the north. Little pocket of heavier snow. It just kind of picked up here in the last few minutes. But that's where we're seeing a little bit of heavier snowfall. Looks like Davenport's about to go above freezing, or you just are now. So you might get a little bit of a rain-snow mix here briefly. The snowfall that falls over the next hour might not accumulate nearly as much as before. Yeah, if you have any photos, feel free to tweet me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. The link is in the description below. It's going to be 38 tonight in Pensacola, Florida. It's really going to be that cold. Jeez. It's actually really cold. How's it going, exploration? Is the storm pressure following the models? It actually isn't. Let me pull it up here on the other map. So, interestingly enough, we were talking about this like all day yesterday, or not all day, but we were talking about like the majority of the live stream. We were talking about the track and how that would influence the snowfall accumulation across the Midwest and the Great Lakes. And this is where the low pressure system was at 1 p.m., which was a couple hours ago. It's moved slightly to the north here over the last couple hours. It's down to 985 millibars, moving into Chicago. So it's actually going to be going right through the downtown area of Chicago. So Chicago will actually have a lull in winds in about an hour or so. It's actually going to become a lot less windy. around this, like right in the middle of this low pressure system. Kind of think of it as like a hurricane. You're like in the eye of it, sort of, but again, it's not a hurricane. This is tonight. It'll go right over the Great Lakes and move north and east. And the other interesting part about this as well is that this actually might not get to a bomb cyclone level. If we go back in time here to like earlier today, so let's go to like, I don't know, last night at 10 o'clock, it was about 996 millibars. This is gonna be the same time. It's gonna be pretty close to being a categorized as a bomb cyclone. Even if it doesn't, it's gonna be very close. Pressure will be down to about 974 at its peak tomorrow morning, but it's not gonna be nearly as intense. It's very close, but it's gonna be like a few pressure points off from being a bomb cyclone, I think. Or it's gonna be close though. It's obviously rapidly intensified here over the last 24 hours, but it's gonna be a pretty close call. Let me zoom back out here. So yeah, if you're in the Chicago area, you can expect a transition into rain. A lot of those areas are already seeing the transition to rain. Let me actually go back to the live radar. Let's go to Chicago. And here's the live radar up close. Winter weather, which it's not gonna, it's the winter weather is not really working for Chicago, but most of this is a lot of rain here. Maybe a little bit of snow mixing in near Aurora, but a lot of this is for the most part rain mixing in with snow across the Chicago area. And this will all move off to the north and east. The temperatures are obviously a little bit above freezing. Let's go to the winds. Here are the wind speeds. So notice it is 0 mile per hour winds being measured as of 2:55 p.m. southwest of Ottawa. So the low pressure system, it's going to be somewhere in here. My presumption, it's actually closer to like right here. I think this might just not be working, but regardless, it's basically in here. It's just northeast of Peoria, going toward Chicago. It's in between the two. So that low pressure system will go right through Chicago, and probably about an hour or so, the winds will be very, very low in Chicago. And then once that happens and they move off to the north and east, they'll start picking up again, and that could lead to some blizzard conditions tonight. And the other thing we can look at is the wind direction. That will give you an idea of where the low is. Yeah, so the low is basically in between here. It's just northeast of Peoria. It's right here. How do we know that? Well, we got wind coming from the northeast. We got wind going west, or coming from the west. Wind coming from the west in Bloomington. That's from the south, and then this is from the east. So the low is near Interstate 55. That's how you can tell where the low pressure system is. Very simplistic weather stuff, but the strongest of the winds are these blue barbs out here that are back over in Iowa, where blizzard conditions are expected to pick up here over the next few hours. But yeah. All right. Snow in Southwest Michigan got severely underrated. It's snowing dogs out here. How much snow have you seen so far? I don't think it's snowed that much yet. I mean, Kalamazoo is maybe at a couple inches so far. I don't think it's really over the top yet. A lot of these areas, like right along the coast, I believe are like 3 to 6. No, they're actually 7 to 12 in this area specifically. But and the heaviest of the snowfall is expected to be up in here, which I had it forecasted to be about 10 to 15 inches of snow or so. Further down here to the south, I mean, even through Kalamazoo, like just into here, it was still reasonably going to be about 5 to 10 inches. So if you're in that ballpark, I mean, it's pretty much in that area. Saginaw, too, I still think we'll see about 5 to 10. Detroit is one of those areas that you'll probably see a couple inches, and that's about it. Again, give or take an inch or two on that. The temperature's actually now dropped to freezing in the Detroit area, so the snow will accumulate just a little bit here over the next hour. Close to 4 inches in Ann Arbor. That's actually surprising. If Ann Arbor's up to 4 inches now, that's a bit surprising to me. That area further down to the south and east, I mean, there have been some changes to the track of this low, where it's going a bit more through Chicago instead of over here, which makes a very minor difference, I think, for that area. like slightly will boost the snowfall totals up a little bit, but it's really not much. But I'm still kind of surprised Ann Arbor is already up to 4. Detroit is already around an inch to 2 inches. Yeah, I mean, Detroit's kind of in that range. Again, kind of expected to be around 2 to 4. You might get a little bit more than that, though, at this rate, if you've already seen about 2 inches. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's free to do. Click the red button down below. Just an update for those in Southwest Georgia and parts of the Florida Panhandle. The Storm Prediction Center is monitoring the potential for severe weather for the next few hours, but again, doesn't look to be a huge severe weather event by any means at this point. Which, again, yesterday morning it looked like that to some. To me, it kind of looked like it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and luckily it was not, because obviously that sort of environment that we had was extremely good for tornadoes, and we could have had dozens of tornadoes if there was instability and the low-level moisture was there. We just didn't have anything. It was just the low-level jet, and that was it. Only can do so much with the low-level jet. You still need some other stuff to go along with it. It's like a football team. You have a quarterback, but you don't have any players to throw to. It's basically what that was. Also, if you have not already, make sure to like the stream if you've been finding it informative so far. Apparently, we're close to 1,000. What do you think about the blizzard warning for Grant County, Wisconsin? I'm not sure which county that is, but I'll figure it out. I'm guessing that's near Green Bay. Oh, never mind. That's actually down here. I mean, the only thing I think about any of these blizzard warnings, and I think this for everybody, anywhere in the Midwest. If you're anywhere in the Midwest right now, I mean, you should be ready, because there's going to be blizzard-like conditions pretty much everywhere. The only exception is that some areas are under blizzard warnings, and those areas, travel is not advised at all for sure. Even in the winter storm warnings, you really shouldn't be. I mean, every winter storm warning that's on the map right now in the Midwest is all going to be seeing very close wind speeds to these winter storm warnings. And again, travel not advised all the way through tomorrow morning for a lot of these areas. And the wind gusts, again, can be 40 to 50 miles per hour in some of these areas. Chicago will probably get near 45 to 50. So, I mean, for everybody in the blizzard warnings, I think we're all in the same boat at this point that, you know, it's going to be very tough traveling. Tough sledding, if you will, tonight and tomorrow morning. Connor Croft right now, he is at... he's currently west of Davenport. So he's near Walton. But he's just west of Davenport. Again, ton of snow on the ground right now in Iowa. This again live in eastern parts of Iowa. About 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes west of Davenport, Iowa. But again, a lot of snow on the ground. The thing that Connor's going to be basically chasing through here over the next few hours will be the blowing snow and the drifting snow on the roadways, which is going to cause, obviously, some problems if anybody is traveling tonight, which, again, not recommended, but there will definitely be people traveling. Frosty, there was never a high chance for severe weather in North Carolina, but there is still a low threat, I believe, tonight. It's, I believe, marginal? Yeah, there's still a marginal threat, mainly for damaging winds, but there could still be a brief tornado. How much for Chicago? If you're talking about snowfall accumulation, Chicago will probably be in the ballpark of like 6 to 8 inches. That's granted if you've already seen about 4 to 6 inches of snow. I don't know how much everybody's seen in Chicago. I've seen some mixed reports, but most of them have been near 6. If you've already seen about 5 to 6 inches of snow, the amount of snow that you're going to see from here on out will probably be maybe 2 to 4 more inches. That's about it, because a lot of the snow is done for today. The rest of the snow that you'll see is going to be back here in Iowa, and that will be coming in late tonight to tomorrow morning. So it's going to take a while for that to get there. Sure, some people have made some snow angels. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people have done that. Those snow angels are going to get covered up quick, though, with how much snow is falling. How much snow is forecasted for Little Rock on Sunday? I'm gonna have a full forecast on that tomorrow. I don't know how much snow Little Rock's really gonna see, because again, I haven't really done a whole lot of research on this. It's been the computer models have been all over the place with this particular event. I would reasonably expect 1 to 3 inches, but again, wait for tomorrow morning's forecast. It'll have a lot more details on that, because that's what I'm gonna be talking about, that event more in depth. I'll have a forecast on that probably tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, and Sunday morning. I'll probably have 3 forecasts on the same thing. Maybe I might do an Arctic Blast one, though. We'll see. I'm either thinking about doing an Arctic Blast forecast today, which would be like following the stream, or doing one tomorrow. So we'll see. How the trampolines fare? We're not going to really see any flying trampolines today. Granted, it is Flying Fences Friday, which the fences probably will not be flying either. But, yeah, I'm not really expecting many flying trampolines. We have a low risk today of flying trampolines. Low risk for the Midwest. The only reason why any would go flying is if you've really not seen much snow that's not really holding the trampoline down further. But, yeah, we're not at a gone forever stage. We're at the low risk. Today is Frozen Fences Friday. That's actually a good one. It's a good replacement. And this is live in near Davenport, Iowa.
Across the Cedar River.
The risk for toilet paper? Give me one moment to pull it up. Here's the risk for the toilet paper meter. So I'd say right now in the Midwest we're at a high risk. Again, people are not going to be traveling tonight, so hopefully you have some toilet paper on hand. Or hopefully you're stocked up at least for tonight. And if you're back down in the southern plains, back into closer to like Mississippi and Arkansas, I would put you at like an extreme risk at this point. I think we're definitely gonna be getting up there, because a lot of people do not know how to drive with this sort of weather when it happens down there in the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley, where areas just do not see snow that often or ice. That'll cause a lot of problems for those areas.
Maryland, yeah, the blue. Basically,
here's the audio.
Black is just map. Hey, like blue is snow, basically. That's heavier. Make it simple. The blue is snow. The black is just map. So like, you can see we got some heavier snow just off to our north and east now. And some lighter snow.
I moved to get away from the snow. I feel ya. If you're in the southern plains, I know. It happens like once or twice a year usually.
The blowing snow.
Yep.
I missed a message. Somebody said, frantic falling frozen flurries Friday. That's also a good one. I like the frozen fences Friday. That's a bit better. It's shorter. Sometimes the names get too long. Yeah, we got Mesoscale Madness Monday. We got tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday. We have Wacky Weather Wednesday. Tossing trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday. We have Flying Fences Friday, which for today it's Frozen Fences Friday. Tomorrow is Scary Storm Saturday, and then Sunday is Suspicious Storm Sunday.
Yeah, we do have the road to ourselves, and that's a good thing.
Or we could even do Suspicious Snow or Scary Snow Saturday, since we're in winter. And get creative. How's it going, Dylan? Rockford, Illinois is definitely up for grabs for a blizzard warning. We will we'll see though. It's not guaranteed. I think you'll be like right on the cusp, but either way you're still going to see blizzard-like conditions either way. The difference between you being in a blizzard warning and a winter storm warning right now, they're so minuscule. There's really no difference. They're going to be the same sort of thing. Thank you, Macy, for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you for keeping us safe and informed. Be careful out there. Thank you for the generous $4.99. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we have been at this for a while. Did I miss anything exciting? Nah, just keep going. Still take you to Iowa City eventually. Just to the east of it. Don't want to be in the city. I wouldn't say you missed anything.
Roads now covered in Lansing. You sent me a video. Okay.
I missed our turn by 5 miles. Probably gonna need to take a cat nap here soon.
I'm retweeting some of the photos as well on our Twitter page. Yeah, if you have any photos or videos, feel free to tweet me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX.
Grab a 6-pack and stay home.
Oh, this is actually kind of interesting. Let's go to this. Let's go up to the northwest. There's a live cam up here in northwest Iowa where it is currently 1 degrees. That's the actual temperature. This is a lake. It is frozen over entirely. We actually, it looks like a bit of fog out here too. But you can see how it's frozen over entirely. It's 1 degree Fahrenheit. And this is a live cam in Iowa. The wind is pretty dead here actually. The wind chill right now is negative 30-ish. Probably in that ballpark. Pressure's definitely not right on here, but you at least get the point. It's definitely pretty cold up here. The ice is definitely frozen over. A little bit of some shallow spots, but it's a live cam up there. Here's a live cam out of Brooklyn, Wisconsin. Still snowing here. Been snowing here pretty much all day. It's still going as we speak. And then back over in southwest Michigan, it is still snowing here. It's not really picked up much at all. It's been pretty light overall. Might be getting close to the moderate stage. We'll see. But this is definitely light snow. It's been light snow for the last couple of hours now in the Kalamazoo area. And then Detroit, we have a live cam here, but this one's covered over by snow. We're not going to get any views on that one, unfortunately. I believe those are all the live cams. We have one over in Burlington, Kansas, too. Snow is done here, but you can see the snow on the ground. Good coating to an inch or two here across Burlington, Kansas. And it is a cold 13 degrees there right now. That's what we're looking at over in those areas. I think that's all the live cams that we have across this area. We have a couple down in the Dixie Alley in the south, or we have like dozens down there in the southeast, but these will be pretty good for when the winter storm happens going into Monday. And there's a possibility I go live for this on Monday, the winter storm down in the southern plains and the Mississippi Valley, but we'll see. It felt like negative 20 degrees in Minnesota this morning. Yeah, guys, it's gonna get bad. Let me show you guys this. It's gonna get bad. That's all I gotta say. It's not gonna be fun. Let's go to this. Let's go to national wind chills. The wind chills are gonna get even worse by tomorrow. So this is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. The wind chills in the Midwest will start to dive into the sub-zero category. But look up here in the northern plains. We have 40 to 50 degrees below zero for wind chills, even here 60 below. In North and South Dakota, back into Montana. This will be Sunday morning. It's even going to get worse. Sunday morning is going to be really bad in the Midwest. We're talking 20, 30, 40 degrees below zero across all of Iowa and as well as back through Illinois and Wisconsin. And then still relatively cold in the northern plains. Let's go a bit further out here. We'll do the European model. This will be Monday morning. Again, notice 30 to 40 degrees below zero for much of the Midwest and the northern plains. Tuesday morning, 30 to 40 degrees below zero for wind chills. Wednesday morning will still be pretty bad. The Midwest will not be above freezing, by the way, like anytime soon. It's going to be cold there for probably at least the next 10 days. So if you're hoping for that snow and ice or whatever else there to melt off quick, it's going to take a while. It's going to be very, very cold for the next 10 to 14 days. I do not plan on being live tomorrow. No, not for the Lake Effect snow event. I usually don't go live for like very isolated events like that. It's a very small scale. It's a big event, but it's a very small area. Apparently, the Buffalo Bills are asking fans for help to shovel the Buffalo Bills stadium on Sunday for when it's snowing. That'll be interesting. that will be something because again, Buffalo is going to be seeing a ton of snow on Saturday through Sunday. Upwards of 12 to 24 inches of snow is the current forecast. Here's the future radar, by the way, for the rest of today. So again, rain primarily for Chicago all the way until this evening. By 9 o'clock tonight, the heaviest of the snow will be back into the central and northern Michigan. This is as we get closer to midnight tonight. Some light to moderate snow from Chicago back through Milwaukee and Green Bay. Snow will be clearing out of Illinois by 4 a.m. tonight. Again, blizzard conditions will still continue all the way through tonight into tomorrow morning, with the wind gusts still being 30 to 50 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, the low pressure system will be up in Canada, but that doesn't mean we're done because we'll have strong westerly and northwesterly winds leading to lake effect snow across Michigan and as well as back up into the Michigan Peninsula. That'll happen all day tomorrow. Lake effect snow will ramp up near Buffalo and as well as Watertown, New York. And that'll continue all the way through Sunday. That's going to be a pretty active time frame as well. This is pretty much what we're looking at right now. Let me find the National Weather Service of Buffalo snowfall totals here. I believe they posted a map of this. Yeah, here's a map. So this would be Saturday all the way through Monday for the New York area, the expected snowfall. So this would include areas near Buffalo, near 2 feet of snow. Watertown will be around 2 feet as well. But again, notice areas like Wellsville or Geneva, New York, you're barely even going to get an inch. So again, these are very isolated events with lake effect snow usually. And Buffalo probably going to see about 2 feet. That's a lot of snow. All right, let's go back to the live radar here. Again, here's Brooklyn, Wisconsin right now. The live view. It's pretty much all white there. South of Madison for blizzard warnings. Again, I don't think that it doesn't really matter if you're in a blizzard warning or a winter storm warning. You're going to still see at least very close to blizzard-like conditions, even in this area. But I think Madison, and even down here, I think you probably won't. But even if you are, again, you're pretty much going to be seeing wind gusts between 30 to 45 miles per hour anyway. Blizzard warnings, again, don't necessarily mean you're going to see more snow. They just mean that you're going to be seeing high winds over the span of several hours that are going to lead to basically major travel impacts. So don't get caught up in blizzard warnings and think you're going to get more snow, because that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't mean that. It just means that there's going to be more travel impacts due to the blowing snow, due to drifting snow on the roadways and all that sort of stuff. How's it going, Taylor? Friendly reminder, if you're tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you've been enjoying the stream so far, make sure to like the stream. If you have any photos, feel free to tweet me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. Preferably tweet at me, don't message me. My messages are already very full. St. Louis will not be seeing anything. Again, St. Louis, if you see anything, would be like isolated flurries in the next couple of hours. But all the snow, for the most part, it's going to be very, very light and not meaningful. It will not accumulate for the most part in those areas. Radar is showing rain, but we're definitely having snow in downtown Cleveland. You might be having snow. I mean, even the radar shows it here. Let's go to the closer up radar. Let's check out the temperatures. You might be having some snow, but it's probably mixing if you are. Yeah, I mean, it's 35, 36 degrees right now in the Cleveland area, excuse me. So you're probably at least seeing a little bit of snow, but it's probably not going to accumulate because, again, we're definitely above freezing across Cleveland. Lorraine is in the same boat as well. Some heavier precipitation, though, that just went through Cleveland. It's all rolling off to the north. And Detroit also in the snow category. This will actually accumulate if you're near the Ann Arbor area. This will definitely accumulate across Detroit, Ann Arbor, Canton. Again, 1 to 4 inches of snow is the forecast from the National Weather Service. I'm pretty much on board with that. I think 2 to 4 is realistic for many of these areas. 1 to 3, 2 to 4. Anywhere north of Toledo, back into southeast Michigan. Again, we do have temperatures now right about freezing in these areas, so that will open up the door here for a little bit of snowfall accumulation. More Michigan blizzard warnings. I don't think so. I think what we have now is probably good. Maybe Western Michigan. You might get blizzard warnings here. No mentioning of it, but I wouldn't be surprised just west of Grand Rapids here, right along the west coast of Michigan, that if you've got, you might get blizzard warnings potentially tonight. But regardless, again, you're still going to be seeing wind gusts between 40, 50 miles per hour. That's basically in the category of blizzard conditions. So even if you don't get a blizzard warning, you're still talking about blizzard conditions, or at least very close to it. It'll be very similar. Hey, Roblox for the $2 super chat. What about Naperville? Naperville's near Chicago, I believe. I'll look this up. Naperville's going to be rain for most of the rest of the daylight hours into tonight. Once we get closer to midnight, there will be one more band of snow showers that'll move through, not rain. This will be all snow. Moving through Chicago, you'll pick up an additional 1 to 3 inches with this tonight. Maybe up to 4 inches if you're lucky. That'll be anywhere in the Chicago suburbs. Thank you again for the $2 super chat. El Nino hates snow. It was a very hot summer. It was one of the hottest summers that we've ever had recorded. And that obviously has kind of translated into a bit of a warmer fall and winter. But even then, I mean, this winter has just been very inactive. We had a very inactive December. January has been extremely active. We are 12 days into the month now. And, I mean, there's been a ton of various events. Report from John on Twitter. Clinton Township of Michigan has about 1.5 inches of snow. Accumulating a bit quicker than expected. If you have any snowfall accumulation reports, feel free to leave those in the chat with location. And make sure you're using a reliable measurement tool like a ruler or something like that. And put it into grass that is away from a building, not onto your patio furniture, because that is not an accurate prediction or accurate place to measure. I have a tradition where when we get a foot of snow, I go outside in shorts and a tank top and do snow angels. That is interesting. That is very interesting. I can't imagine that being very fun. New special weather statement for Cleveland. There's moderate to heavy snowfall moving through northeast Ohio. This will continue into the evening commute before snow transition into rain. And they are expecting wind gusts around 40 miles per hour, visibility dropping to less than 3/4 of a mile, and as well as up to an inch of snowfall accumulation. So if you are in northeast Ohio, just a little heads up, that is an area that we're looking at now for a little bit of accumulation of snow, but it probably will not be much. That would mainly be on elevated surfaces up to an inch. That is what's happening there right now. Did not mean to bump my desk. $11 inches of snow being reported in the Pewaukee area of Wisconsin. Samantha, it's just a different surface. It's just not really accurate. Sometimes snow can fall, like, let's say we're talking about, for example, like a chair that has like a little, thing, like a back to it. Snow can sometimes drift and fall onto it, and it just can kind of make it inaccurate. I mean, it can happen on grass too, but grassy surfaces are the most accurate way to measure it. If you want a rooftop, usually that's going to have more snow than like the surface, because again, the rooftop is usually a bit colder. It's elevated off the ground. So we're a little bit off the ground. And tables are usually colder too, like a glass table, glass patio table. So those will accumulate a bit faster too initially. Just kind of depends on the situation. But it's the most accurate way to do it is just by simply doing it in the grass away from a building. And away from trees too. Open field is usually pretty good. 4 inches in Ann Arbor. Yeah, again, I'm personally surprised by Ann Arbor having about 4 inches of snow already. That was an area that I did not expect to have that much snow by this point. It's definitely higher than I was expecting. This is a live cam, by the way, in Kalamazoo. This is not officially a bomb cyclone, not yet. A bomb cyclone, what that means is that the pressure drops by 24 millibars over 24 hours. Land bomb cyclones are very rare, so this one might not get to that point, but it's going to be close. It's probably going to drop right in the ballpark of like 19 to 23 millibars over the next, like over the 24-hour period that we're looking at. So it's entirely possible it's a bomb cyclone, but we will see. It's not confirmed though yet. 2.5 inches of snow in the downtown metro area of Detroit. That sounds like a lot, to be honest, but it's definitely possible. Sheboygan, Wisconsin at 10 inches of snow. 3 inches of snow in Lambertville. 9 inches of snow in Rockford, according to Hammer. I think I got all of the ones I saw in chat. Yeah. I don't know about Detroit. It's on the fringe. Depends on where you are in Detroit. If you're like downtown, I would be kind of surprised. But the temperature's down to about 32. So, I mean, to be honest, it's very possible it's at about 2.5 now. But again, it's another area, Detroit in particular. Again, I was not expecting that much snow, especially this early, because you're going to get a little bit more snow overnight tonight too. but it has remained a little bit colder there than expected here through the afternoon. Temperatures will go back up tonight, but it's definitely a bit surprising. Yeah, Detroit overall, like downtown Detroit was forecasted to get about 2 inches of snow, like 1 to 3 basically being the range. And again, a little bit surprising that we're already at 2.5, because there will be a bit more snow tonight and tomorrow morning. And again, if you're just tuning in, and if you haven't already heard, winter storm watches have been issued for eastern Oklahoma, almost all of Arkansas, western Tennessee, and northern central parts of Mississippi, and also northeast Louisiana, all now included in winter storm watches for Sunday into Monday. I will have a full forecast on that tomorrow. If you're currently in northern Illinois, the winds are going to be dying down because the low pressure center is currently like located near Chicago. Let's see where it is now. About half an hour ago to an hour ago, it was just northeast of Peoria, just south of Ottawa. Let's check out the wind direction and figure this out. See where it is now. So the low pressure center is now centered right about here. So it's over just southeast of Aurora, just southwest of Chicago. So the low pressure center is about to go through Chicago. So if you're in Chicago and you're seeing winds dying down, that would be why. The low pressure center, right in the center of it, the winds are going to be pretty calm overall. And that's because, just think about this as like a hurricane. If we're in the Atlantic Ocean with a hurricane happening, category 4 or whatever, that's going to have like almost no wind in the eye of the storm. But when you get further away, it's windier, obviously. It's a very similar case with, a strong low pressure system like this over the United States. Again, the winds are nowhere near a category 4 hurricane. This is like tropical storm force winds, but we're basically talking about dead winds here in the middle. So the low pressure center is about to be going through Chicago here. The heaviest of the precipitation now moving into the lakes. We have a little bit of heavier precipitation near Interstate 57, a little bit just north of Chicago. It's all surrounding the Chicago area. Actually, the low pressure center, it's like right about here. So it's actually a little bit closer to Orland Park in Oak Lawn. So this will be going over Chicago here pretty shortly. Thick, heavy snow in Michigan City, Indiana. In Indiana, there's a place called Michigan City. Sounds competing. 2 inches of snow in West Bloomfield, Michigan, so far. Let me see where that is. I'm guessing that's near Detroit. Yeah, just outside of Detroit. Yeah, you'll probably pick up a couple more inches, probably around 3 to 4 inches of snow total before the rain comes back in, and then you might get an additional inch overnight. I wouldn't be surprised if areas near there actually pick up closer to 6 inches at this rate, because there will be another round of snow like early tomorrow morning. That could lead to some additional accumulation. And for those that are wondering about severe weather, we have none going on right now. So no concerns right now down in the southeast in terms of severe weather. We have a few storms ongoing, none of these severe, none of them tornado warned. Again, the environment was pretty primed for it, aside from the instability and low level moisture. Those two things never occurred. We had very limited amount of moisture as well as instability, so that severe weather event never transpired. So in case you're curious about that. But there's still a low risk of severe weather here for the remainder of today. But it's pretty low. I would not expect much. 0 inches of snow in Croswell, Michigan. Another report. And again, here's Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo just dropped below 32. Snow is picking up a little bit more now in Kalamazoo. It's gradually picking up. The visibility's dropped to about a mile, it looks like. I think it might say it on here. You can see the pressure falling too. Doesn't say visibility on here. I'm guessing this is about a mile of visibility, maybe 3/4 of a mile. 3 inches of snow in Lowell, Michigan. Thank you for the report. 3 inches of snow in the Lapeer area of Michigan. Yeah, if you have any snow reports in your location, feel free to leave those in the chat. 3 inches of snow in Ann Arbor. We've had 3 to 4 inches being reported in Ann Arbor so far. Aurora, nothing falling out of the sky. Yeah, Aurora's right over the low pressure center, so you might be drying out a little bit here for the next few hours. 3 inches of snow in Mount Morris area. I don't think the metro area of Detroit will see 6 to 8 inches of snow. I think the most you'll see is about 5 to 6. That would be all the way through tomorrow morning. 3 to 5 is definitely in play. If what I've heard is true, that there's been about 2.5 inches of snow in Detroit, I mean, it's possible that we could get to 5 to 6. 3 to 5 is a pretty realistic range at this point. 3 inches of rain in Valparaiso, Indiana. Yeah, unfortunately, much of Indiana, you're not going to be looking at any snow. It's all rain for the most part, unless you're on the northern side of the state. Actually, Indianapolis has had a little bit of snow, it's just not accumulating too much. It's a beautiful view, I have to say. It's a really good view here of Kalamazoo. Here's a live view here from Connor. This is again over near Davenport, Iowa right now. There's a lot of snow on the roadways right now. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend traveling anywhere in Michigan or Illinois or Wisconsin.
Keep the timing belt changed, and they will run forever. And keep them from rusting out.
Kalamazoo's not done with snow. You'll see some through tomorrow morning.
I'm surprised he actually made it right here.
And this is live right now.
Momentum was his friend, for sure.
This is where he almost went off?
Yeah, this is where.
Yeah.
Momentum was his friend here.
This is live right now in the again, Davenport, Iowa area. So again, snow's still falling here. This is the area that we're going to be seeing blizzard conditions here relatively soon. There's already been some drifting of the snow, but the winds will continue to pick up throughout the rest of the afternoon into the evening hours. Again, a lot of the roadways are covered over. This entire area of Iowa is literally, I mean, even the roads are now covered over, and a lot of these roads got treated. So definitely a rough ride right now across much of Iowa. And the snow is starting to wind down in Iowa. Here's the live radar. So again, the heaviest of the snow that's remaining in Iowa is near Des Moines. We have a good pocket of that there, and also just north of Davenport, but otherwise a nice little dry slot on the backside of this, just west of Chicago. This will start to feed into Chicago here in a little bit. It'll dry things out for a few hours, and then we'll transition right back into more snow as we go later into the evening hours, into the overnight hours. Rain, sleet, and occasional snow in the Fort Wayne area. Yeah, you're right on the cusp. But again, a lot of these areas, they're like right in this, like, I'll kind of outline it, but like right in this area, they're right on that rain and snow kind of fringe. And so with some of these areas, there's going to be a lot of different precipitation types happening because we're going to have like a little temperature inversion in the atmosphere. What that basically means is that the temperature as the snow comes down, I'll make like a little diagram. I'll make one down here. Well, let's just say snow is falling 2,000 feet off the ground. And then all of a sudden the temperature goes up. Let's say it's 33 degrees instead of 32 or whatever, just something simple. Let's say the temperature increases a little bit. That'll melt into rain for the most part, but there will still be a couple of snowflakes that'll get through. So it'll be kind of a mixture. And then the temperature drops back down to like 30 once we get closer to the surface. Then we'll be talking about rain, sleet, and snow all going to the ground. That's basically what's happening in Fort Wayne, presumably, if you're seeing all three precipitation types. So you'll basically see all three. And the temperature is not like super warm in the atmosphere. Like it's not like 40 degrees 1,000 feet off the ground. So it's not going to all melt into rain and then into sleet. But if it was warmer, this would all be sleet or freezing rain reaching the ground. But even back down in like Texas, for example, Texas is going to be an interesting place. If we do end up seeing ice in North Texas on Sunday, I'll make a diagram for this. Let's just say off the ground, it's 25 degrees. Again, it's all snow. I'll put 4 snowflakes here. The temperature actually aloft will be like 40 to 45 degrees with that Arctic blast. So let's say it's 40 degrees. All of this is going to melt into rain. And the surface temperature will be probably about 28, 30 degrees or so. But the temperature is going to be like, this temperature here will be only like 500 to 1,000 feet off the ground. So almost all of this will just continue to be rain, which will be freezing rain. And that'll lead to ice. And some of it will be sleet, but that's a concern for parts of Texas and northern Louisiana back into Alabama and Mississippi. Again, that'll be our next winter storm. And I will have a forecast on that relatively soon. Just saw a second dude snowmobiling down in the street in Lansing in the middle of the city. I would not be surprised. Things like that are very common during these events. Killjoy, your garage camera, it is very blurry. I'm guessing you have snow on it. Well, that's my guess. We have a camera near Detroit. There's a cyclone port, and unfortunately there's snow on it, so we can't see anything that's happening in Detroit. But we do have a great view here in Kalamazoo. This is by far the best camera in the Michigan area. This one has a perfect view of everything. You can just see how the snow's coming down too. A lot of it looks light, but it's definitely picked up. They're not huge snowflakes. They're smaller ones, but it's become a bit more moderate now. This is the KDPS headquarters. I believe that's the Kalamazoo Police Department live cam here. And you can see the snow is actually beginning to accumulate on the roadways a little bit. That was not happening before, but we have a little bit trying to accumulate on the roadways. I'm doing good. I don't know how to say your name. Celsita, maybe? Not doing bad. Not doing bad today. Appreciate everybody sending in photos and videos, by the way, on Twitter. We do have wind chill advisories and stuff being issued, by the way. Here's the map of that from the Radar Omega app. Again, we have wind chill advisories being issued down through parts of North Texas now. Wind chill watches and warnings being issued back through Oklahoma City. The Midwest is being issued now into wind chill watches for the most part. So, various areas right now being issued into those. That is because wind chills will be dropping to 20 to 30 degrees below zero across parts of the Midwest, including Iowa. Iowa will get as cold as 40 below zero. This live cam is in Kalamazoo, this specific one. The Connor Croft at the bottom right of your screen, he is currently near Davenport, Iowa. So Kalamazoo, Michigan, Davenport, Iowa. If you have any other questions, by the way, feel free to leave those in the chat. And again, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's free to do. Click the red button down below. And if you've been enjoying the stream so far, make sure to like the stream. But again, there's a lot of snow on the ground in a lot of these areas. And Kalamazoo is one of the areas that'll be picking up a lot more of the snow over the next few hours. It's going to be really geared towards tonight more than anything for that area. Areas just south of Madison, like Brooklyn in southern Wisconsin, a lot of the snow's already fallen. Some more is still to come, but it's not going to be too much. You can actually see some of the ice crystals here. Background. Frozen there from... Temperatures are actually right near freezing. So it's about 30 degrees, but it was pretty close to freezing a little while ago. It's been snowing since this morning and no accumulation in Arkansas. Been snowing there? It's still snowing there right now? Has to be light if there's any snow. Let me look at the radar. I don't see any. It might just be some like light little flurries. I'm guessing it might be that. It's probably not much. If it's just a few snowflakes, they're not going to accumulate. It's too warm down there. And if it's just a few snowflakes, it's not going to accumulate. It's just too light. Probably not heavy enough. How's it going, Cynthia? Appleton, Wisconsin, crazy whiteout right now. Yeah, it's the snow is going to get to the point with these blizzard conditions as well. It's going to become very hard to see out there on the roadways. Kalamazoo, this is one of the best live cams we have right now. This one in particular, I mean, you can see the cars going obviously slow on the roadways, but the visibility is not horrible here yet. It's not like you can't really see on the roadways. And here's a police officer, but yeah, you can again see it's actually not horrible on the roadways right now. It's manageable, that's for sure. Thank you, Debbie, for the $4.99. I appreciate that a lot. Love your accurate updates. How about Cleveland, Ohio for the rest of the winter? I mean, Cleveland is probably going to see something at some point when it comes to like a winter storm. I would say you can probably expect something in February. Maybe the later, like very late half of this month, like maybe near the last weekend, but that's what I'd be thinking at this point. There's the police officer. There he goes. Not very many cars that have gone that way. There's only a couple of tire marks on that road. Thank you again, Debbie, for the $4.99. Appreciate it. Holding steady at 32 degrees in Ann Arbor. Yeah, I think Ann Arbor will begin to warm up, though, in the next hour or so. The low pressure center is now going through Chicago. Let's go to Chicago and check it out. Last time this updated was 20 minutes ago. I believe the low pressure center is probably right about here. If not, it's probably just it's about to go over Chicago. So again, the winds are going to be pretty dead over Chicago for a little bit, probably an hour or two, and then it'll start to ramp back up again this evening. Up close to 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Monroe, Wisconsin, can't tell how much snow we've gotten because of the drifting. Some areas stripped to grass have 2 to 4 feet drifts in my yard. Jeez. The drifting is a crazy aspect of everything because, you know, when we have drifting, the snowfall accumulation, like, you know, being able to tell how much snow we've seen, it becomes more difficult because we just don't know sometimes because the drifting just kind of basically, you know, it's almost like cutting a slice off of a cake almost, like taking a knife to a cake and it just kind of slices off. That's kind of what we're talking about and just kind of blows away. Reminds me of dust storms, kind of. Dust storms, like, transport a bunch of dust everywhere, like all that sand. Here are the DBZ values near Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo right now, probably near its heaviest snowfall that we've seen all day. It's right around 25 DBZ. Some heavier snow still probably to come, but this will be close to the heaviest it gets. I think the highest numbers that we've seen so far when it comes to DBZ is like 30, and we're at 25 right now when it comes to the precipitation and how heavy it is. So this is right about the heaviest it'll get. It might get a little bit heavier in maybe a few hours, but it probably will not get much more dramatic than that. "32 degrees in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma." Some areas in Oklahoma will be below freezing for about a week, I believe, or at least like 5 days. It's going to be a while for some of those areas. Again, if you're looking forward to snowfall, you definitely have a chance on Sunday night and Monday. If you're looking forward to some winter weather, it'll definitely be there for probably a good week. I'll be doing a forecast for Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, all those states that are going to have the chance for ice or snow. I'm going to have a full forecast on that tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but I've been live for a while, so. Just joined you. You do an amazing job. I appreciate that, Brandon. How about St. Louis? St. Louis will not see really anything from this event. You might get a flurries on the backside, but that's it. Again, St. Louis is not even really in the picture for this winter storm. So, you'll be lucky with some snow flurries, but that's about it. It's just gonna be cold. Yeah, the Kansas City playoff game tomorrow, the wind chills will be down near 30 or 30 below zero. Buffalo, New York. So for the Buffalo Bills game, it's going to be a very snowy game as well. So those two games will definitely be pretty crazy. Thank you, Stuart, for the $4.99. Is Prescott, Wisconsin going to get a lot of snow? Prescott, Wisconsin. No, you will not. You're actually done with snow up there with this event, unless you get like a few flurries. Yeah, you might get like a little brief amount of snow tonight, but it won't be much. I wouldn't expect much more than maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow. The forecast right now is about 1 to 4 in your area, so I would say about 1 to 3, 2 to 4. It's a reasonable amount there, but I mean, if you consider that to be a lot of snow, which I doubt you do, that's how much you'll be seeing. Otherwise, that's the only time you'll see snow would be tonight. That's again close to, looking back in time a little bit, about 5 o'clock. So yeah, again, probably about 5 to midnight, maybe a little bit after that, you'll have a little bit of snow in your area, but it's not going to be much over the span of 7 hours. Very light snowfall overall. Again, it won't accumulate much. And I appreciate the $4.99. This is the live radar feed right now, so there is some snow up there. Pretty light stuff overall, though. A couple of little bands of maybe moderate snow. Thank you, Chronic, for the generous $9.99. Just want to thank you for your live stream. I got some peaceful sleep. That's good. Good to hear. Could you possibly confirm the snowfall in northern Georgia for Tuesday? Again, I'll have a full forecast on that tomorrow. I don't really want to go into too many details with it because, again, things are still changing with that event, like by the minute with these computer models. There just hasn't been a computer model so far that's been in the ballpark of being consistent. I think the European model has been the most consistent to this point, and it's just begun to be consistent. But relatively speaking, I'd say your chances in northern Georgia, like north of Atlanta, are like 20% right now for snow. Metro Detroit has already had 3 inches of snow. Thank you for the report. The Genesee County, Michigan. I don't know where that is. It's Flint. No blizzard conditions right now in those areas. It's mostly just snow. I mean, I'm guessing visibility in these areas is probably down near 3/4 of a mile to a half a mile. So obviously take it slow on the roadways, but you're not really going to be driving through the blizzard conditions if you're coming from Georgia. You'd be going through probably Toledo and this way. So it's mostly going to be light snow with maybe a little bit of reduced visibility. Definitely take it slow on the roadways. It could be a little bit slick further north you go, with it being a bit colder up there. No problem. we getting any rain 30 miles west of Toledo, or is it going to just stay snow? You will be getting rain. Yeah, the warm air is starting to lift north now. The low pressure center is right about to be over Chicago, and we have all sorts of it. We have a strong southerly wind, so that'll bring a little bit of warm air out of the Gulf, and so that'll kind of get here into Toledo. This should actually all the way, this will go all the way up into Detroit and Flint tonight. So there will be at least some transition to rain for those areas tonight. Even if you're 30 miles west of Toledo, you're in that same picture. There will be a transition, probably in about an hour or two. And then you might still see some snow like late tonight, tomorrow morning, but that'd be about it. There wouldn't be too much tomorrow morning. Snow is coming down in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you for the report. Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio actually is under a special weather statement. You might see up to an inch of accumulation, but it'd be very quick. It's crazy that Des Moines got 12 inches of snow. Yeah, parts of Iowa, I mean, even Des Moines got a little bit more than I expected. I think I put Des Moines and Davenport in 8 to 12 ranges. I could be wrong on that. But I think that's where I forecasted that area to be in. So they're on the very high end of that. Probably going to go, they're definitely going to go over that because it's still snowing. And then this entire stretch here, just from about Milwaukee back through Green Bay, I was expecting 10 to 15 inches of snow. I don't know if anybody's in this area from Milwaukee back through Appleton and Green Bay. If you are, let me know in the chat and let me know how much snow you've seen. But this is the other area that I kind of expected 10 to 15. I think that's just kind of like the jackpot area, Beaver Dam included. Oshkosh and Appleton. With maybe an isolated 1.5 foot reading. No, 1 inch of snow is not bad unless you're in Texas. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, 10 to 11 inches of snow. Appleton, 6 inches of snow so far. Yeah, Appleton will see more snow over the next few hours. You'll at least get to 10, I think, at this rate, because there's still more snow to come. You'll have snow all the way through probably at least midnight tonight. About 9 to 10 inches of snow right now. Makes sense. By the way, it's sleet and not hail in the Midwest. If you are seeing anything that's falling out of the sky that's solid ice, that's going to be sleet. And that would include anywhere here in the Midwest. And also the Ohio Valley, for the most part. Northern Ohio Valley. 10 inches of snow in West Allis, Wisconsin, just outside Milwaukee. So right on track for 15, or at least 13 to 15. Probably. Maybe. We'll see. You'll probably get a few more inches of snow there. Burlington, Wisconsin, over 10 inches at the moment. Blizzard-like conditions in Milwaukee. Green Bay, about 9 to 10 inches of snow. So, yeah, basically in the ballpark of what I expected, 10 to 15 inches. I do think there'll be at least another 3 to 5 inches in those areas tonight. And then tomorrow morning, there'll still be some snow left over as well. We have about 4 inches of snow in the town of Sheboygan. Big waves crashing onto Lake Michigan. Very wet and heavy so far. Yeah, if you're right along the lake, those areas in particular, like right within a few miles of the lake, it's going to actually be less snowfall, and that includes Sheboygan, because we have strong southwesterly winds over warm waters. That's going to lead to less snowfall overall. So many of those areas right along the coastline, you don't have nearly as much snow because of that reason. Rockford, Illinois, 5 inches of snow so far, and it is still falling. You only have 5 inches in Rockford so far? I'm actually surprised by that. I feel like it'd be a bit higher. That area in particular was like 7 to 11, 8 to 12 in my forecast, so, I mean, it's still going to probably be in that range, but I thought it would be a bit more. But granted, the low pressure center is now going over Chicago instead of going through Indiana, so brings more of that warm air up there and even into Rockford, where temperatures, I believe, are a little bit above freezing now. Low pressure center is probably over Chicago at this point. About to be moving into the Great Lakes. That will continue to keep warm air there and start to bring some warm air up into Detroit and Toledo as well. Still wet and heavy snow in Ann Arbor and Detroit, according to a report. Sounds about right. Here's a live look again in Kalamazoo. The snow still remaining quite light, maybe a little bit moderate. Looks to be very small snowflakes, but there's a pretty high quantity of them here. So again, still some light snow in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We can continue for the next few hours. Kevin, the wind in the Chicago suburbs, anywhere in that area, it's probably going to pick up in about an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So behind that low pressure system, the wind will begin to pick up. But yeah, again, it's going to be very dead wind for a few hours there around Chicago, because the low pressure center, again, it's like a hurricane. It's like the eye of the storm, basically. Wind's dead. It's going to start picking up, though, again, as we go into tonight. Wind gusts will be back near 50 miles per hour around midnight tonight in the Chicago suburbs, leading to some blizzard-like conditions. Chris, it might be a bit windy, but I wouldn't expect much more beyond that. You won't really run into much snow if you're going from Oklahoma City to Indianapolis. Roads are starting to get slick in the Genesee County, Michigan area. Thank you for the report. Frosty, it's $8.99 on iOS and Android. You can also get a subscription to it as well. But it's the best $8.99 you'll spend on a weather app. The sun is beginning to set, by the way, in Michigan. And as well as Detroit, it's definitely setting right now. It's getting close to it. Here's just west of Buffalo, New York. Here's the live view. The sun has actually, I believe, set here. Not a single snowflake on the ground here in the Baltic area of Canada. That'll change, though. Going into tomorrow. Yeah, the sun is now setting. It's actually Bank of America Stadium here in North Carolina. Tons of cars out here in North Carolina. Sun is setting there as well. The sun's going to start setting. So the reason why I did this live stream, by the way, earlier today than I expected was because I wanted to make sure we were live during the extent of most of the sunlight, because you know, you can see more things that are happening instead of having a nighttime stream where, you know, it's not like thunderstorms where there's lightning and stuff, really. I mean, we had a little bit of thunder snow this morning in Chicago, but it's a bit of a rarity. So thank you, Dale, for the generous $9.99. I appreciate that a lot, Dale. Thank you very much. Appreciate your generosity. It's very generous of you. Thank you. Let me check out the power outages real quick. Did want to check that. Illinois currently has 19,000 without power. Michigan has 18,000. Wisconsin with 30,000 without power. Ohio, 12,000 without power. Pretty minimal power outages so far. And again, power outages were not really forecasted to be that extreme with this event, but there are some power outages out there. It's just very isolated. Wisconsin has the most right now. It's near Milwaukee. We have definitely a little bit more power outages there. Close to 4,000 without power in the Milwaukee area. So some isolated power outages, but again, nothing by any means that's widespread at this point. The winds in Green Bay will stay pretty much around where they're at. If not, they might increase a little bit tonight, but the highest they'll get is about 50 miles per hour for wind gusts. Iowa will continue to see blizzard conditions tonight. Even though the snow will be winding down here relatively soon, the blizzard conditions will continue with high winds around 50 miles per hour. Wind gust wise, not actual wind speeds, and that will continue through tomorrow morning. It'll start to wind down as we go into the late afternoon and evening on Saturday. Sunday will become a bit better of a day to travel in Iowa, but still will be use caution out there. Wind chills will be as low as 45 degrees below zero, by the way, in Iowa going into Sunday morning. Going to get frigid there. How close is the sub count to 100,000? I have no clue. Haven't even looked. Let me look. We're currently 8,600 away from 10 or 100,000 subscribers. Friendly reminder, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's free to do. It's the red button. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon so you're notified with the latest videos and live streams as well. And yeah. But overall, that's going to pretty much do it for the live stream today. I was planning on going live for about 2 to 3 hours at most, and basically gone through everything that you guys need to know. I mean, the winter storm is still ongoing. Things are still happening, but overall, a lot of it's, happening right now in real time. The snow is still happening, but nothing too crazy right now that I need to cover because we've already gone over everything in the last like 2.5 hours. So that'll do it for today's live stream, and that'll do it for the winter storm coverage on this particular winter storm. And this is our first ever Blizzard live stream. We've never done one of these before on the day of a winter storm or blizzard happening. So you are all a part of history on our channel. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you all for watching these live streams over the last few days. We've hit records on this channel. I mean, we had like 700,000 views in the last 48 hours. It's just pure insanity. Yeah, we've almost had 1 million views on this channel in the last 48 hours, which is just literally insane. So I really do appreciate everybody's support tuning into these live streams. It means the world to me. And again, thank you all for 90,000 subscribers yesterday. Thank you for watching this live stream. Anybody that's become a member today or super chatted, I really appreciate you. You're able to help run this YouTube channel as often as I can. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel, watches these videos in general. I appreciate you guys a lot. Sharing the stream, whatever. Again, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much for watching. I don't plan on going live tomorrow. I might go live Sunday night for a little bit of an update on the ice storm and winter storm potential. And I might go live Monday for the winter storm itself in the southern plains and back into the Mississippi Valley, but not certain on that yet. If I do, it'll probably be during the afternoon hours. But again, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We do videos and live streams like this all the time, so make sure to subscribe with the red button down below. Click the bell icon so you're notified if and when we do go live. Appreciate you guys all watching. Have a safe rest of your night. Take it slow on the roadways if you have to travel, but again, travel not advised. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you guys all again soon. And again, I appreciate all of your support, and have a fantastic rest of your night and a fantastic rest of your weekend. Next video will probably be tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Have a great night.